dropping them songs, doing it so wrong. She throwing me her thong, I'm getting in my mode. Where you go so far? It's your boy on wrong. It's your boy on wrong. What's good, gang? It's your boy on wrong, and I'm back with another video. Today we're gonna be talking about the hidden drug influence in the music industry. I bet. So let me ask you something. Have you ever listened to a song as a kid and then you grew up and you realize you thought it meant one thing as a kid, but then you suddenly realize, oh, this song is definitely about drugs? Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. The music industry has been doing this for decades. From the biggest pop artists to the biggest rock artists to the biggest rap artists. Just like Future's DS2, unless you actually know what lean is or you're a Future fan, you would never realize that this is just a representation of lean. Or The Weeknd's House of Balloons. You gotta realize that you can look at the song names and when you really start to look at everything, it's all imagery. Balloons are used for drugs also. So we have songs that are supposed to sound romantic. Songs that are about candy, tastes like candy, but it's actually talking about something completely different. And today we're going to break that down because the secret drug language in music is crazy. And once you notice it, you'll never unhear it. So Dende, you take my appetite, but it's also right. I just wanted y'all to actually understand. Okay, so one thing I wanted to tell y'all was I wanted to know what this song was about. And once I realized that they weren't talking about candy in this song at all this whole time. So when this song came out, Candy by Cameo, a lot of people thought that this song was just a fun pop song. But then when you actually listen to the lyrics, the metaphor is obvious. The whole entire song compares a person to candy. And in music, candy is often a slang for something addictive, which leads to a pattern you're going to start to notice everywhere. It's like candy. See, that's the main bar. I was wondering, what did he mean? And now that I'm looking at the video, candy is I thought it was something else, but we see what it is. So that's where the music industry metaphor game comes in, because here's a kick. So artists use metaphors. They rarely actually say the word drugs. Instead, they're going to use metaphors like candy and sugar and medicine, clouds or pills or purple. So it sounds harmless, but the meaning is truly hidden inside the metaphor, because if the song directly said, hey, this song is about drugs, then the radio stations wouldn't play it. So artists have to get creative by, saying, it's that perp. It's that dang. Alright, so Lucy in the Sky Diamonds. A lot of people have referenced this and debated this song because the initials in the title are literally LSD. Coincidentally, that's the same name of a psychedelic drug. And especially with the theme of the song, it has surreal colors, dreamlike visuals, so definitely sounds like someone is describing a psychedelic experience.
Presented as a child's drawing, the song's surreal imagery fueled decades of debate, widely interpreted as a psychedelic experience disguised by John Lennon as innocent inspiration. Number 9.
Alright, bet. So now let's talk about the rock era, because in 1960s and 1970s, drug references in music just exploded. So this is literally where the era of psychedelics, countercultural, and counterculture and experimental music came in. So this is where artists weren't just making songs. They were starting to experiment with how music sounded and how they could create music differently.
Nobody's business was in my cup, was in your cup, was in their cup. It's your cup. Drink it. Die. Kill yourself if that's what you want to do. You could be drinking prune juice. Who knows? Who knows? As long as if I say this is death on ice in my cup. Okay, I could be drinking iced tea. You just got fooled. Who's gonna live longer?
So one thing Lil Wayne said, he said that he made so many hits off of whatever was in his cup. So why is everybody worried about what's in his cup? But suddenly, lyrics started referencing things like purple haze, white lines, strange visions, just like here with Mac Miller's Faces. It's it's literally representing when you're off of psychedelics and you don't know it unless you actually look at it and you analyze the cover. You have to really look at it. You see the tongue, you see all the colors. It looks amazing to the visual eye, but then when you start to really analyze the cover, you're like, oh. Which also leads to another famous example. So this is a famous reference. White lines, don't do it. Ironically, this song was actually warning people about cocaine, but the phrase white line became a slang in music culture, and then after that, drug references started spreading it through multiple genres. So this was a cautionary tale about the dangers of cocaine addiction. Despite an energetic party-like sound, it was a warn against the allure of the drug detailing consequences of addiction such as losing money, going to jail, harassment, harming one's health. My fault. But we on that. So by the early 1990s, well, by the 90s, by the early 2000s, I was going to say, drug metaphors became extremely common in hip hop. But again, artists often use code words, examples, purple, lean, molly, gas. But even if the word drug isn't said, fans understand what it means, and sometimes the metaphor is almost exactly specific. So a song could be literally describing floating in clouds and numb feelings, slow motion, right? And then you start feeling these altered states, or you start wanting to know what it feels like to be in that altered state. So it's more of a influence on the youth, influence on you. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, R.I.P. Juice WRLD. We love Juice WRLD. But we're gonna read these lyrics to you, why they happen, right? On the screen. While I do my worst, my dad told me Hennessy won't heal anything. Sip 2 times. Goddamn, that shit don't work. They won't keep up. Now, this song is called. Let me show you the song so you know. So with most modern day artists, you can actually say it. You can just come out straight up and say it. So his song is literally called All These Drugs. Alright, bet. So they can't keep up. They won't keep up. I overdose. Won't wake up. So the thing is, he's promoting it. Look, right here. She off the wall, off the Adderall. It probably sounds crazy, but R.I.P. to Juice WRLD, man. This is crazy. It sucks. Sucks. So another song is called Purple Haze. So the phrase basically is associated with a psychedelic experience. So again and again, we're starting to see a reoccurring factor. We're turning metaphors, turning feelings, not really saying the actual word, and we're turning it into money. The real question is, why do artists write about it? So why do artists write about it? So it feels like there's a few reasons. First, music is about emotion. So of course, emotion and experience, artists write about things that they're actually experiencing and that's affecting their lives. And number 2, the music industry itself is extremely intense. So imagine constantly touring, no sleep, all this pressure to create hits, public scrutiny. For some artists, substances can become a part of coping with that type of lifestyle, of course. But that doesn't mean it's glamorous, because in fact, many artists later talked about their downsides: burnout, addiction, health issues, and even sometimes death. So when you hear about these references, sometimes it's not a celebration. Maybe it's a confession or a warning. I don't understand how it could be a warning though, because a lot of these artists try to say, oh, we're saying it to warn you, don't be like me. But then the music sounds so good and the music sounds so great. We just vibing. So you don't really realize how much the big influence this type of stuff has on all of us, actually. That's why it's like good to not always just listen to, is it secular music or hip hop, whatever you want to call it, because you honestly have to get yourself away from stuff like that sometimes, because it's just drugs, girls, lust, love, like nothing really good for your brain. Cut. Remember I told y'all I got bit by a wasp yesterday? My hand is swollen. Anyways, so once you understand the hidden language in music, you start noticing it everywhere. All the songs about candy and clouds and medicine and flying often have deeper meanings. So music always uses symbolism because sometimes it's easier to hide the message inside a metaphor. Music reflects culture and culture reflects real life. So the craziest thing about that clip that I showed you earlier with Lil Wayne, he said, "Don't ask what's in my cup. I won 4 Grammys off of whatever was in my cup." But is it worth it? Is it worth it? I want y'all to drop in the comments. Is it worth losing your actual sanity over these drugs and these substances?
Whitney Houston take drugs on their wedding day at Houston's New Jersey home in 1992.
What went through your mind when you saw that?
She wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? The drugs wasn't her. She did drugs, but drugs didn't do her.
In part of a sit-down interview with Robin Roberts, Bobby insists he was not responsible for Whitney's drug use.
It wasn't me.
Okay.
It started her.
Says he didn't enable
I
it.
take my part, and I take it hard for me even being a part of it. But we all have our own minds, and some of us are stronger than others.
Brown adds that he and his ex-wife were careful not to let their daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, see them take drugs. Bobby Christina died in July 2015 after she was found unresponsive in a bathtub, eerily similar to Whitney, who was found dead in a hotel room bath at the Beverly Hilton in 2012. The full 2020 interview with Bobby Brown airs.
So music reflects culture, and culture reflects real life. That's why sometimes references on difficult topics, not to glorify them, but artists put them in their songs just to have a storyline and tell you about their experience. So the next time you hear a song, listen carefully, because sometimes the meaning isn't just the beat, it's hidden in the metaphor. It's your boy Young Vo. It's your boy Young Vo. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. I feel like that was a really good video and a really good topic. And man, I'm gonna be back with another one tomorrow, back to back. I hope you had a good, loving, blessed day. And I'm gonna see you later. Peace. You've been all alone, with a brand new face and a brand new waist and a brand new